Masood graduates today with a 3.75 in philosophy and special honor and plans to go on 7 years late to law school. Cheering Masood on today is Dorothy Samuels, who helped Masood with a scholarship in honor of her mother, Rosalind Silver, Hunter class of 1940. Congratulations, Masood. Is extraordinary. In 2010, Darlene was working as a bartender in a Port-au-Prince hotel when a 7.0 earthquake struck Haiti with devastating force. The hotel collapsed, and Darlene was trapped in the rubble for days without outside contact. When Darlene was finally dug out, she was severely hurt, and both her hands had to be amputated. Despite the debilitating injury, Darlene would not give up. She made her way to New York to get prosthetics and the therapy that allowed her to master day-to-day activities. She enrolled at Queensborough Community College and won a special scholarship to Hunter. She graduates today as a psychology major with a 3.3 GPA and will care for the future by returning to Haiti to create a rehabilitation center for children with disabilities. What Hunter has given to you by giving back to your community. Some of you will go on to be doctors, like Nabita Hussain, who came to this country from Bangladesh when she was 5. A Macaulay Sociology and Biochem major with a 3.96. Nabita works with handicapped children and will attend Georgetown Medical School next year. Our financial futures by becoming CPAs, like accounting majors Abiel Amador, who came from the Dominican Republic at 10 and was bullied because he didn't speak English. Abiel was president of our accounting society and helped Hunter students with their tax returns. His fellow accounting major, Juliet Leviton, a Macaulay grad with a 3.97 GPA, helped publicize the society's good work. Abiel will go on to Mazars USA, and Juliet will go on to Deloitte, both top accounting firms. They will care for the future by watching our savings. Some of them will go on to save our eyesight. Ridwan Karimsoni left Nigeria when the universities went on strike and finishes his studies today at Hunter with a 3.6 GPA in chemistry. He will attend the SUNY Optometry School in the fall, along with Sarah Pinkasov, daughter of Uzbeki immigrants and founder of Hunter's first optometry club, who graduates with a 3.94 GPA. And some of you will go on to advance health science. David Sasson, a Macaulay chemistry and quantitative biology major with a 3.84 GPA, worked last summer with supercomputers on the problems of nuclear waste. David will go on for a master's in health data science at Harvard and will care for the future by saving lives with personalized medicine. Some of you will go on to fight fake news like Shannon Ho. After writing for the school paper, Shannon graduates with a 3.94 in media studies and Macaulay honors and will be a digital news editor at NBC. With a 3.9 GPA and Kristen Marco with a 4.0 get their doctorates in physical therapy today. Undergrad degrees at Hunter as well, with Kristen as a basketball star. Both will care for the future by getting our bodies moving again. Some of you will care for the health of our souls, like Alexandra Shafran, a political science and religion major with a 3.8 GPA, who is studying Jewish texts on a special scholarship and will go to divinity school. Some of you will be trailblazers like Prima Mananhar Sasaki, a Macaulay scholar with a 3.74 GPA in bioscience, who will go on to get her master's in epidemiology at the University of London and fight disease. Some of you will make your mark in business, like Macaulay Honors and Comp Sci major Dina Mangiolino. With a 3.96 GPA, Dina will go on to a special program at Con Ed for future leaders with the goal of working in cybersecurity. Some of you will go on to lead the biotech revolution. Armand Avetisian, biology major with a 3.93 GPA, helped his immigrant dad build custom musical instruments, but also loved science. He put the two together and began tinkering with medical devices. Armand went on to get his master's in biomedical engineering at Columbia and will care for the future by making life-saving inventions. And of course, many of you have even bigger dreams. Like Macaulay Honors student Joy Nuga, daughter of Nigerian immigrants who majored in economics and public policy and landed a prestigious position on Wall Street with Goldman Sachs. Joy was elected vice chair of the Hunter Senate and plans simply to go on to be the 52nd president of the United States. Like your classmates, each of you has an extraordinary story. Each of you has lived the Hunter dream. Many of you came to this country not knowing the language or the customs. Most of you struggled through financial difficulties and family and work obligations to finish college. Our hope is that each of you will commit yourself to Hunter's motto in whatever path you choose. In saying goodbye, we ask you to remain connected to Hunter by our commitment to care for the future of our great city and great country. Congratulations, graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Alfonso David. Alfonso, you have been called the third most powerful person in New York, and it's not hard to see why. As counsel to the governor, you are Andrew Cuomo's principal legal advisor. You're a key player in getting the governor's legislative agenda passed into law, and you defend those laws in court. More than that, your political skills, powers of persuasion, and extraordinary record of accomplishment command the respect of Albany. Your negotiating skills, not to mention your quiet but steely determination, were on full display 6 years ago when you helped steer the gay marriage bill through a divided legislature and onto the governor's desk. It was a historic achievement that made New York the first major state to approve such a law. And speaking of first, with your wise counsel, our Governor Cuomo recently made New York the first state in the country to make public colleges tuition-free to middle-class families, thanks to the Excelsior Scholarship. But then, fighting and winning battles for civil rights is what you've done almost your entire career. You were a staff attorney with the Lambda Legal Defense Fund, arguing cases that affected the lives of the LGBT community. You created and ran your own anti-addiction organization and served as New York's Special Deputy Attorney General for Civil Rights. Mr. David, like so many of the graduates here today, and like countless thousands before them, you came to this country at an early age to begin a new life. At the age of 10, while your father was serving as the mayor of Monrovia, a violent military coup broke out. With soldiers at the door and the house in flames, your father saved you and your sister before he was arrested. For the next 2 years, you lived under house arrest, fearing each day that your father would be executed. It was only when he was released that your family could come to America and you could live your American dream. Alfonso David, please come up. In light of your outstanding record of public service and your major contributions to civil rights, Hunter College is honored to have you as our commencement speaker and to present you with this award in honor of your public service. Presenting the plaque are David Aronov and Ashley Sinanri. David's parents also fled opposition in their mother country, Uzbekistan, as Bukharan Jews. This stirred David's passion for public service. He's interned for Queen City Council member Karen Kosowitz's office for so long they think he's a staff member. A political science major with a 3.7 GPA, David will go on to run for elected office. Ashley was filled with a passion for educational equality after she saw so many of her friends from her Queens neighborhood stuck in dead-end jobs or worse. This fall, Ashley, a Macaulay and public policy major with a 3.89 GPA, will pursue her dream by earning a master's in public policy at the Kennedy School at Harvard. We also want to present you with some mementos of your day at Hunter. We know you're really into fitness, so we have a collection of Hunter workout gear for you. And because your job is in Albany, where winters can get really cold, we hope you'll think of us every time you put on these warm Hunter gloves. To give you this gear are two more students who, like you, are dedicated to public service. Rachel Nurse Baker has a wonderfully appropriate name because she graduates today from our nursing school. Like you, Mr. David, she's dedicated part of her life to helping HIV/AIDS patients. She also served in CUNY's ROTC and plans to take to the skies as a flight nurse. Andy Tan grew up watching his immigrant Chinese parents struggle to support the family with low-paid jobs. This experience inspired him to study economics, earning a 3.97 GPA. Now he's headed to City Hall to work appropriately as an analyst in the mayor's budget office. Congratulations to all our students, and welcome Alfonso.
Knock, knock, knock. Be brave. Knock, knock, knock. Be brave. Knock, knock, knock. Be brave. April 12th, 1980. Monrovia, capital city of Liberia, West Africa. I was 10 years old, as you heard. It was nighttime, pitch black. I was sleeping in the bedroom that I share with my brother. My dog, Bingo, who had been sleeping at the foot of my bed, started barking. I heard loud explosions, loud pops. My mother rushed into the room and said, "Get dressed now." She then rushed out of the room. There were more loud explosions. I had a feeling that something horrible would happen. I didn't know what it was, but I could feel it deep in my stomach. A minute later, my father rushed into the room and said, "We have to go. We don't have time." He grabbed my brother and pushed him out of the bathroom window. He then did the same for me, for my sister, and finally for my youngest sister, who was 1 month old. "You have to catch your sister," he said. "Keep quiet." He cradled her tiny body wrapped in a blanket out of the window, and he gave her to me, and I grabbed her. And to my surprise, she was not crying. The explosions get louder and faster. My father and my mother meet us in the back of the house. He looked at me and he looked at us in a way that I had never seen before. And he said, "Run." Without shoes, we ran through the nearby bushes and headed into the night. I was afraid that they, whoever they were, would catch us. That we were not going to be fast enough. It felt as though someone was right behind us. I looked back momentarily, and I saw flashes of orange and white through our bedroom windows. What I didn't know then was that they had broken into our house and they were shooting in our beds. A minute later, it would have been too late. "Don't stop, keep running," yelled my father. It felt as if we ran for hours until we finally arrived at my aunt's house. We rushed inside. I could feel the sweat all over my pajamas and blood on my feet. Minutes later, knock, knock, knock. We're here for the mayor. Open the door. Open the door or we will come in and kill everyone inside. I was frozen in the corner. My aunt opened the door, and there was a man holding a gun half my height. And he pushed through the door and demanded my father. Where's the mayor? My aunt stood in front of him. I'd never seen a gun before, and I thought we were all going to die. Look, we know he is here, and if he doesn't come out right now, we will kill everyone in this house. My father appeared, and the soldiers grabbed him and took him away. And then my mother started screaming. Her screams expressed exactly what I was feeling. I thought I would never see him again. What I did not know then was that we were in the midst of a military coup d'etat. My uncle, William Talbot Jr., the president of Liberia, had been assassinated. The democratically elected governor of Liberia was no more. A group of rebel soldiers had overthrown the government, and our nation would be thrust into a bloody civil war that would last for years. I knew my father was in prison, or probably dead. I knew my uncle was certainly dead, and I knew that we would never go home again. And for the next 18 months, we lived under house arrest. During this time, I read every book I could find, trying to escape my reality. But there was no escaping that new reality. I remember live executions on television. Men lined up on the beach, tied to wooden posts, with black hoods over their heads. Each one of them would be shot to death. We all watched in horror, thinking one of those men could be my father. Each shotgun was like a punch in the stomach. I also remember rebel soldiers coming to the house to rape women. One afternoon, that reality came even closer. As a soldier tried to force his way into the house, my mother stood firm at the door to protect the women in the house. He put a shotgun in her mouth and threatened to kill her. And I watched her stand firm. You will have to kill me before I let you touch any of those girls. And in that moment, she seemed 50 times her height. My mother, this woman I thought I knew, I was both terrified and in awe of. And this woman who had suddenly become a giant before my very own eyes. At 10 years old, I learned something profound about an experience that I would not wish on anyone. My parents standing tall for their principles and for a democracy that they helped create even after it was destroyed. And this would resonate with me forever.